So tonight I think I just want to tidy a few things up. Probably not trying to make too much forward progress tonight, just want to take a look at some bugs and maybe organize some assets a little bit. I was thinking about this. I think I deleted the pixel art branch too hastily last night because I had done some reorganizing of the tiles that I probably do want. So I think tonight I'll start just by removing that unknown visual noise that ended up in the map data and reorganizing. I think we'll start there. Quick burn down check, make sure we didn't kill it. Cool. So it gets the noise out. And then I guess let's come up with a plan for organizing our sprite maps. I think it's still reasonable to have map tiles on tab 1 and or on tab 0 and unit tiles on tab 1. That's probably fine. We're going to call that cursor a map tile for now. I'll probably eventually want to change how I have these laid out, but I don't think I care for now, because I don't think I'm going to want a whole row for roads or whatever this ends up being. And I'm probably going to need multiple tiles for shallow water, multiple tiles for deep water, but I don't know what I want to do, so I'm not going to care about that right now. But I think this basic reorganization makes sense. So let's see, 64. So, okay, so player 1 units we need to change. So sprite 21 becomes 64. And 5 becomes 80. And what else? Our cursor got moved. Seven becomes 16. And let's see if we burned her down again. Oops. I think I3 is actually passing that keystroke through to the app, which is weird, so it moves that sprite around, whatever. That is wrong. So these, is that right? Oh yeah, I just plainly screwed that up. Okay, so player 1 is 80, and player 2 is 64. Yeah, it's annoying. So cursor looks good, and player 1 and player 2 are good. Okay. Cool. Okay, it's all straightforward enough. So let's see here. I want to change how we display NA in our debug here. This is trivial, but just annoys me that it says NA twice. I'd rather just have it say NA once, I think. And that should be a fast change, so we don't really need to live with this. Cool. Oops. There must be some scoping thing happening here that I don't understand. Debug line 5. I don't know why this cell isn't this cell. what I assume the linter is telling us is that this local is unused, and then this is being assigned to a global or something. It's sort of weird, though. Guess we can confirm that. Like this. Maybe you just do this? It seems like this would break. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe cell isn't in scope by here or something. That's weird. Maybe it's that. Because I don't want to pollute the global namespace with this kind of garbage, so I don't want to use a global here. I don't feel like dealing with this, so I'm just gonna cut a corner here. I wonder if I can do this. I don't know. Does Lou have a turn area? Maybe? No. This is really obnoxious. It doesn't seem like this should be hard. Oh, wait a minute. I was doing a stupid thing. Sort of. Maybe that. Okay, so that works. Now let's see if the linter likes this any better. Does it just want me not to initialize this? I don't understand. Value assigned to variable cell is unused. So Okay, okay, I guess you just don't... So we can do this. Okay, that's weird. So I guess in Lua, they would rather you declare but not initialize variables like this. Weird, but sure, I guess. Okay, anyway, moving on from that. Now I just want to quickly set the default make target here. Right now it's make setup because I have the file structured, but I don't want that. Okay. So we can work on the movement, or we can fix the cursor bug. I think I'd rather take a crack at the bug tonight, because that caught me a little bit by surprise. I didn't really think we'd find a bug here. So if we move in one direction at a time, here, let's go to map 3. If we move in one direction at a time, it works fine. But if we start to hold diagonals, if we try to move diagonally, the camera doesn't follow in the horizontal direction. Is that what's happening? Okay, so if we're traveling diagonally, the cursor can exit the camera, presumably not also the map, Okay, so we can tell from our debug that we have exited the camera, but we have not exited the map. And only in the horizontal direction? That's pretty weird. But maybe that's a side effect of... Let's try this. Okay. Yeah, alright, that's a bit weird. It looks like we can slip out of screen, but only horizontally. What does the debug tell us when this happens? Oh, also, I might be able to just deprecate this tile ID thing. Let's do that real quick. And out of curiosity, okay, our CPU's at 1285. I just want to see if this makes any difference. Self.tile, let's pull you out entirely, because I don't think we're going to end up using that. And then our debug. Okay. Well, I'm gonna take that out entirely because I don't think we're gonna need this. It looks like when the bug occurs, the cursor moves as intended. It's just the camera that doesn't follow it. Probably has something to do with these kind of janky... Probably has to do with this logic right here, which has always been a little bit janky, I think. I've always kind of hated this direction thing I have. I feel like I need it because I want the cursor to have slop within the camera, because otherwise it's really annoying when the camera moves around every time you hit the cursor, and I don't want that, but this might not be the way to do this. I mean, this is definitely the problem. I guess what's happening, yeah, okay. What's happening is that this is exactly what's happening. These are not if-elses, these are ifs. So, and that's not a mistake, because we want it such that you can press left and up, or maybe left and right, and stuff at the same time. But up and down are always going to beat left and right because they come later, and they're all setting the self.direction value. So down will always win, then up will always win. So that's why the diagonals act weird. It's because the horizontals are overruled. See, this logic just kind of sucks, straight up. I don't really like this. Because this direction thing always felt gross. What I probably want to do is not track direction, but create some kind of bounding box. There's like an internal... I'm going to need to think about that probably off stream, but I think what I want is the camera forms one square, and there's another square that is like 4 cells shorter in each direction. And when you break the bounds, the camera moves. Yeah, so yeah. I might need to like track a cell. I do track cells on camera. Okay. This is the problem though. Damn it. That's absolutely the problem. So I'm going to put that on hold. I want to think about that a little bit off camera probably. So let's take a quick stab at warping our units, I think. And then soon we'll get to actually animating them, and then after that we'll constrain their movements to within a known radius, I guess. But going to make one change here. I don't want to use button 4. I want to use button 5 for our selection, because that would be, I think, on a controller in the A button position. Okay, that works. So what logic do we want here? To start with, we want, if you click on a unit and you have a unit selected, so that's half of it. If a unit is selected, and then you click on a non-unit tile, we want to move the unit to that tile. That's what we're going for. So here's our, if a unit is available for selection, selected. Really quick, let's map this unselected to button 4. That will probably become more complicated later, but for now that's fine. I guess let's just do this right now. Make sure that one line of code works. So we click X on a non-unit tile and nothing happens, and we click X on a unit tile and we select it, and we click X on a non-unit tile and nothing happens, and we click Z and we clear our unit. So that's working. There's an else if in Lua. Else if one word. Oh, it's a then. Okay, else if. So if we So if there's a unit available in that cursor position, do this. Otherwise, if self.selx, we're going to cut a corner and assume we're never in a state where x is non-nil and y is somehow nil, because that shouldn't happen. So then we need to move the unit from its registered position to its new position. I don't know how Lua wants to do that. Maybe we can do something like this. Game.map.units.p1 self.cell I wonder if this is going to auto-vivify, or if this is going to fork. Wait. So I think we can do... I don't know how Lou's going to handle this. I don't know if this is correct. So we want to take the unit that was at selected X, selected Y. We have selected a unit. We registered its coordinates at cell.x and cell.y. And now we want to place that on the map. Here. This is what's wrong. This is it. The map is always the frame of reference. Oh yeah, okay. It's this. We take the unit that was on the map at coordinates selected X and selected Y, and we assign that on the map to where the cursor is presently, X and Y, and then we remove the unit that was registered at being at the selected coordinate. I don't know how Lua is going to handle this regarding passing by reference or value or what, so let's run it. So we select a guy and we try to move him and we get an explosion. 19. Wait. 76. Game.map.units P1. Attempt to index field. Nil. Yeah, okay, so this is failing to auto-vivify in all likelihood. So there's an extra step here. And that is... how do you do it? If not... right? If game.map.units.p1 self.selx is falsy, we need to initialize a table there so we can then make the assignment, because it's not evidently going to auto-vivify. So we select this dude. Oh shit. Surprisingly not too bad. Now, what else? We move our guy. And then I guess after we move him, he's not selected anymore. So self.cell.x and self.cell.y are nil. Select our guy, move him. Nothing is selected. Okay. One more time. So the cursor is at 1-1. We hit select. We have selected 1-1. And let's put him at... oh, we also need to make sure we can't stack units. Whoops. Maybe we get that for free. I don't know. We'll think about that a second. So we selected him at 1-1. We place him at 2-1. That looks like it works. I'm surprised, I guess. Okay, cool. And given the logic, for free, the logic is such that we actually can't stack units because if our cursor is over unit, we're just reselecting the unit, which I guess is fine. I don't know why there'd be any harm in in that. Are we leaking memory or anything? I wish I could kind of debug the structs in play. Or the tables in play, or whatever. Doesn't look like it's going wrong. So I guess let's tidy this up a little bit. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So here we are. We move the selected unit to the current cursor position, and then we remove the prior reference to the unit. I wish I understood better what Lua was doing under the hood in terms of how it's managing its memory or something. But I guess it works. I'm not going to sweat that for now. And right now we can move any unit, any player one unit anywhere, which is a fine place to start, but that's not where we need to end up. We need to account for a movement radius and account for impassable terrain and account for player 2, because right now I'm kind of building this game as if it's going to be one player versus a CPU, but again, really, it's going to start its life as a two-player game because I want the game playable before I have to take on the complexity of writing an AI, because that's going to be it's a whole thing, even though it'll be really fun to do. So there's our unit warping. That's pretty cool. Now it just, you know, feels slightly closer to being a game because we can actually do stuff. I guess somehow, too, we should visually indicate that we have a unit selected, because obviously this debug thing goes away at some point. I don't know how I want to communicate that visually though, and right now I don't really care. I haven't given any thought at all, for the most part, to the aesthetics at this point. I should probably take a look at like what Fire Emblem and Advance Wars, I guess, do, because those are kind of what I have in my head. I don't remember what either of them did, but I remember liking what both of them did, so I'll just steal some idea from those guys. So where does this leave us now? I guess let's commit this guy. That's probably a reasonable place to break for the night, because the next thing we should probably do would be either fix the cursor movement bug, which at least we understand now, and I want to think more about that offline, because there's a bit of probably pencil and paper visualization work I want to do. But yeah, next time we can either fix that cursor movement bug, or maybe we can animate the movement of our units from cell to cell. Or we could also... we could take a stab at the pixel art, though I don't think it's time for that. Or we could... this is what I was thinking. Or we could visually indicate unit selection somehow, either by changing the cursor, or... We can't really do like ghost units because we don't have that kind of transparency in Pico 8, but we can do something. But yeah, so next time, and I'm going to put this back into the who cares column, and this is a who cares thing. Yeah, so next time we'll pick it up here. We'll either fix our movement bug, or we'll animate our unit movements, or we'll visually indicate our unit selection. One of those. But yeah, I'll call it a night there. So thanks for hanging out, folks, and we'll see you next time.